Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Naughty Catherine. Today I wanted to talk about, because it's been kind of a while since I made my last video about llama fiber, I just wanted to talk about what I've been up to, because I made a little reel at the beginning of the year, like, I'm making this and I'm gonna do this, and I did not do any of it. So you can see I'm wearing a new sweater. I will take pictures and put them in, but ignore the mess in the background. But it's very pink and very fluffy. I made it with Blackberry Ridge Woolen Mill mohair and wool blend. So it's like 20% mohair, and then another whatever 100% equals to wool. And then I also got it and decided it didn't have enough of a halo. And so I paired it with a loft from Knit Picks. So I had this pink, blush pink, and this was kind of like the main yarn was like a dusty rose, I think was the colorway name. And so yeah, I made the sweater. And that took me I started it May 16th, and I didn't finish it until September. But it's just the Lazy Sunday sweater. I forget who the pattern designer is. But today I wanted to take you through kind of, besides this sweater that I've been working on, I wanted to talk about my trip to Canada. And yeah, I wanted to tell you all about what I've been up to. So starting with Canada, we went on a cruise for a honeymoon to Halifax, Nova Scotia, Sydney, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island in Charlottetown, and then we looped back to Bay of Fundy for St. John. So we went to a yarn store in every single port except Halifax, and I did really well. So the first stop was then Tracy's Rolling Iron Shop was in Cape Breton. So we missed. So Tracy's Rolling Iron Shop started as a trailer just down at the port, and she goes kind of all around Nova Scotia and I think maybe New Brunswick. And she sells yarn out of a trailer. And so they just bought a like brick and mortar store this year, I think he said. And it was a really nice yarn store. They had quite a bit of variety. And then they're also connected to like an occult, like witchy store that was really fun. And they had like a nice couch next to a TV and a fireplace and some spinning wheels up top. It was lovely. So there, I'm fidgeting with my microphone. There I was like knitting every day on the boat, and I was kind of taking like my backpack around, and it was not convenient. So I got this tote bag, and we went to a portside lobster boil afterwards because we were in Canada and they have a lot of lobster in Nova Scotia. And fishing is one of the main things. I got a little lobster liver on the bag, so I need to wash it. And then, of course, they were like, these are really popular. They're lobster, they are lobster stitch stoppers, and I am so excited about them. They are so cute. They're from timberyarns.com. I ate like 4 lobsters on this cruise, maybe more. And then I also picked up yarn. And so I wanted to focus on like local Canadian yarn because when in Rome. So I got these Lichen and Lace. It's hand dyed from Sackville, New Brunswick. It's a very rustic, very kind of toothy wool yarn. It's 100% Canadian wool. So I got, this is Sugar Plum and then Teal Tide. And I don't know, I thought they paired pretty well together. I also love this stitching detail on labels. I think that's really cool. So I think this is like a local dyer and a sourcer of well, but you can see, like, look at that texture. I just feel like this is gonna wear into something really, really, really nice. So maybe not next to skin, but just like something durable and like hardy. I don't know a lot about Canadian sheep, or like what Canadian wool properties are. I should look that up. Moving on, our next stop was Charlottetown, PEI. And they didn't have, I think their local yarn store was closed, but they do have Northern Waters, and it's a tartan and knitwear shop. So they have, you could hear the knitting machines going in the back. Like they have hand machine knit sweaters for sale. And they also have, I guess, Prince Edward Island, or yeah, I think Prince Edward Island has its own wool spin, or not woollery, wool mill. It's called McAusland. So I picked up some, it's 100% wool, virgin wool. It was surprisingly affordable. It was only $8.95 Canadian. So this was like the last of this color that I had. And again, I'm just gonna make some color work nonsense with it. I thought these went together kind of cute. So I just picked up two. And then, so because they didn't have like a huge yarn selection, they also had some spinning fiber available, which I'm kind of drowning in fleeces, because I'll probably talk about sheep and wool next. But yeah, I'm happy with it. And then we went to Good Vibrations. Good Vibrations in St. John, Bay of Fundy, New Brunswick. And we met the owner, I think. She was really nice. We talked about, I guess I have a doppelganger in New Brunswick. She was like, yeah, your glasses are different, but I thought you were someone else. I thought you were like a local. And I was like, I mean, I'm French Canadian on like the 16th of my family. And so we got to talking about like how I could research that and like the Catholic churches. And I did a little bit of looking into, there was like an expulsion of French from Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and like the British tried to kick out the French, and so the French tried to get to Louisiana, and somehow my family landed in Wisconsin, and or maybe in UP, Michigan, and so I don't know if we like just didn't make it to New Orleans, or if because I think Wisconsin was still part of the Louisiana Purchase, so I need to do a little bit of history research there too. I should have done a lot more research for this video, but this is just kind of a YAP blog. And then what I got at Good Vibrations is, I think, my most favorite yarn that I have ever come across, because it is a silk mohair, which I love working with mohair. I'm a freak, but it's a DK weight, and it came with a pattern for the embouchure shawl kit because it's by a local designer there. So I'm probably gonna make that shawl, but I'm a little intimidated because I've not read shawl charts. I'm sure I'll figure it out, but yeah, you can see it's Good Vibrations, and it's delicious, like halo but thick. It should work up fast, like. I'm so excited. And the color too. This is like Brilliant Violet. It's reading a lot more like cerulean on camera, and I think it reads a little bit more cerulean in person too, but the purple like deepness to it is definitely there. So that was my trip to Canada. I have been working on washing and processing fleeces, so the first fleece that I got was Larkspur from Teller's Rainbows End Farm in Hartford, Wisconsin. And I'm a little intimidated by the Icelandic. I made some samples, and I can go grab them, but I made one where I kept the tagliatelle. It's Icelandic. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. So the undercoat and the overcoat together, and then I combed them out. So I have a little bit of the undercoat that I need to spin, but it's like very short, so I'm kind of intimidated. And then I've spun the the longer overcoat, kind of coarser fibers together, and that made like I don't know. I think I'm just gonna process it all together and make like a bad loopy yarn, unless I really want to comb all of it. But my dad went to a fiber festival today, and they sent me a picture of him working on a knitting loom, and I am thrilled. I would love it if my dad would leave, because then we could do sheep to shawl, and we'd have a weaver and then a spinner, and we could probably find another spinner and like a plier, right? And then my next fleece that I'm working on is Valerie from Rainbow Fleece Farm, and I have a little sample of it here. Excuse me. This is about 100 grams washed and spun up. So I did a single plot, like obviously a single, but then I double plied it, and it's probably like a worsted, maybe a DK weight. I like how it turned out, so I'm gonna replicate it. I turned it into bats, and then bats into rollags, and then spun it like so. So, yeah, Valerie is coming along. Beautiful chocolate, like black fleece that blends out. I'm too lazy to chop the tips off, and I like the brown versus the dark black. I got some Clean Forest, no, Black Welsh Mountain at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool that I am going to work on, and I may chop those tips off just because it's like historical to get black fiber that way. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about all that work. But it's for Shape 'em to Save 'em, so I'm excited. And then I also got a BFL Teeswater and Gotland cross fleece at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool too. And then I also got this lovely Cordell from Observatory Hill Farms. That this is a bat. It was already washed, and they jacketed their fleeces or their sheep, so it was just a dream to process. I mean, there was very little to no vegetable matter in the fleece, and then it being washed already saved a lot of time. So that I turned into, I've got some bats left, but I turned it into a bulky yarn because I thought I was going to make a bulky sweater, but now I don't have enough. So I'm making hats with it because I'm an amateur. But I'm sure I will learn a lot because I've got a lot to learn. And yeah, so in terms of spinning, I also dyed some of the cordial. So I made an indigo bat, and I dyed more indigo. And this the more you work with it, the less it rubs off on your hands. But the problem I had with the first indigo bat I made, that it was just like, it was turning my hands way blue. This one's slightly better. I made sure to like really measure and get the alkalinity right, and then also neutralize it immediately with vinegar. And then I also harvested goldenrod. So my former workplace had a walking trail behind it, and they had a whole bunch of goldenrod because it was late August, early September in Wisconsin, and I wanted to be a freak and harvest it at like a rest stop off the way from Sheep and Wool, and I didn't, but I found some on that walking trail, and a coworker helped me harvest it. So I made a dye bath, and this is the result of the goldenrod. I think you could be able to pull it to a green with a little bit of iron. I don't want to do that on wool, of course, because that could damage the fibers. But so those are the two kind of leftover samples that I have, and I made a gradient with it. So here's, I think, so you can see I you know, I made a bat, I stripped it down, and I chain plied it. I'm really proud of this, even though it's kind of a poor example, because it's very bulky, because I'm this was kind of also practiced with a cordial, which it still turned out bulky, but a little bit more consistent because it's a very springy, very crimpy fiber, and it's kind of hard to tell how much twist you're putting into it when it's so kind of springy. But really lovely. I'm excited to work with it more. I also got a new spinning wheel, but maybe we'll talk about that in a different video. What else? Oh, I made mittens. Where'd they go? Here they are. I made the Polly Putty mittens. That's the wrong hand. And you can see that they're like inverse. Oh, that looks super cool on camera. It's kind of hard to pick up off camera, but yeah, I wanted a dopamine project because I had been working on this, and like I don't know, I kind of hit a slump with like spinning, and like I'd kind of accumulated a lot of projects, and I was like, I am not getting anything done, so I knocked these out. It took maybe a month. The first one only took a week, but then like the second itis got to me. So I made this one first, and then this one was follow up. And this is out of Kelborn Woolens Decay. I did wet block them, and my towel suffered for it. So now there's a purple mitten print on my blocking towel, and I'm sad. I don't know. It's what it is. It had goldenrod dye on it anyway, but the goldenrod was like a little bit more subtle because it's yellow versus like bright, deep purple. Because yeah, the teal and the red, like those colors, they look awesome together, but they bleed like a bitch, and I didn't realize it until I was like, does Kelborn Woolens bleed? And everyone was like, yeah, which is great because I'm also working on the Nevermore sweater for my husband, and it has the red in it, and I've got like a light gray with it, so I think I'm making a sweater that I can never wash, which is fine. I told him I'd divorce it if he put it in the washing machine, because he's like, you can't put a hand-knit sweater in the washing machine. I'm like, why would you do that? Why? I would divorce him immediately. Immediate divorce if a hand-knit sweater goes in the washer. That goes for everybody. And then, so I made these. Oh, also at Cheap and Wool, I bought more Blackberry Ridge. So I got this hat kit, and then here are the colors. So it's a little bobble hat, and then I have the pattern on right below. And it also came, actually no, it came with the pattern, so it's got the color charts here. And then the button lady was back. I'm not sure what her business name is, but she's the button lady at Cheap and Wool. And I found these vintage Italian leather buttons, and I'm so excited. I think I'll have enough of Valerie, because Valerie is 5.5 pounds. Where'd she go? Oh. But like, yeah, I want to make a cardigan with her and then use these buttons on at least like maybe 4 of them on the cardigan, because I don't know, I haven't done a button band yet, and I want to try that. I want to try a button band. Yeah, I think Um, I think that's about everything. So I made mittens, I finished the sweater, um, I made a hat out of some hand spun. I might have shown that already. I dyed with muscadines. So my coworkers, they're two of them were from Alabama, and they were like talking about how it was like muscadine season, and then Concord grapes, which are kind of I think the same thing as muscadines, came into our local grocery co-op. So we had some at work, and I was like, these are staining my fingers. I bet I could stain yarn with it, and I did, and it was really pretty. But I don't know where that ball of yarn went. It's somewhere in my yarn room. Oh, the last thing. We have a black walnut tree outside of our house. It's our neighbor's tree, but our garage takes a beating from the walnuts. And there was one day that like I was like looking up, and I was like looking up at it on my way to my car because we have a detached garage, and I was like, man, some of those are really high up, and then 4 of them fell and almost hit me. So as retribution, I made dye out of the walnut husks. And I tried to dye a cotton t-shirt, but it didn't go well. It looks splotchy. It's like not good. But I know wool comes in brown. However, it's a different brown. And this took up the dye a lot nicer and a lot more evenly. This is like I think this is Winnipeg's Swish DK, which I think is a superwash yarn. And I also have 2 superwash minis to go with it. But yeah, it was, I think that's when I hit my knitting slump, because I was sitting on my stoop tearing open walnut husks, some of which had fermented, with gloved hands, and putting them into a pot, or I put them into a laundry bag and then a pot. And there are maggots that live inside the husks of the walnut. It's like some native fly species, and I was mid like pulling it apart, and I was like, there are worms in here, and I'm going to make dye because I'm already in too deep. But that was a moment where I realized, like, oh shit, this natural dye journey has really got me doing some fucked up shit. This natural dye journey has got me doing some weird crap. Because I'm like there on my porch, and I'm like, am I going to individually pick out maggots from dye material? And I didn't. I just simmered them. I'm going to be punished for probably how many flies that I killed. It was gross. It was really gross. I just threw the laundry bag away. I was like, I'm not. I mean, I've been dyed, but I'm not. I don't want to think about it. But I did it anyway because I was really in too deep at that point. That my neighbors had seen me out there collecting fermented walnut husks. But I got pretty yarn out of it. So I think that's it. I don't know what else to really chat about. Anyway, like and subscribe, I guess, or share if you think I'm weird enough to share. Bye.